For Life with Learning, I chose to do a podcast and base it off of the effects that it had on the algorithm. The idea came about that I saw a lot on TikTok that if you wanted to push your video to get views and likes, the best bet was the algorithm and what was popular at that time and what attracted people's attention and hashtags. So I wanted to use that to my advantage in advertisements because advertising your own business is very important for getting your business name out there. So I picked a podcast and I wanted to try and use the algorithm in my favor.
Before you scroll, I have a couple things that I want to tell you. If you're trying to go viral here on TikTok,
this is how the TikTok algorithm works for visual learners in less than 60 seconds. This is the algorithm. When you post a new video, the algorithm behaves.
And we're back. I'm your host, Erin Duff. Welcome back to Pillow Talks. 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 I'm your host, Erin Duff. The podcast name came from the idea that I wanted it to be a very cozy vibe. I wanted people to watch and kind of just sit and like maybe eat their dinner or something, or chill in their bed and watch the episode while I talked about something of importance or not. I thought the name was kind of cool. I did Pillow Talks with a little Z at the end. I kind of liked it, and I made 3 social media accounts. I made a YouTube account, I made a TikTok account, and I made an Instagram account. Sadly, I didn't use the Instagram account because I learned throughout the process that Instagram wasn't great for pushing an algorithm for videos, where TikTok and YouTube were my best bet. With the name Pillow Talks came with what was I bringing to the table. So I came up with 2 segments to see which one pushed further. First segment was a solo podcast episode where it was just me in front of a camera like now talking about something that was trending at the moment. And for the second segment was interviewing people. I wanted to grow my experiences and education in interviewing people because I'm very passionate about it. So I would get people on and I would interview them about whatever topic I was going to be talking to them about. With interviewing people, I did find it hard interviewing people even if it was my friends, because I started off with my friends. I still found it hard to not get lost in random conversations and go off topic. I did find that hard to like bring it back to what we were originally talking about and get like the main questions out, especially because if you're talking to someone that you know, it's hard to not lose track and just kind of fall into a state of just conversation. And then we had interviewing people that we didn't know, which came with different hardships of awkwardness, of anxiety and rejection and just weird conversations because they're strangers. Speaking of staying on track for episodes, speaking by yourself in front of a camera for 30 to 35 minutes, it's hard to stay on track to what you're talking about. My first episode that I did was award show season, and I wanted to hit most bases of what happened during award show season and my opinion. I had bits and pieces on my computer to keep me somewhat on track, but I felt that in that episode I did go off on my own. So for the next time that I sat down to do a solo episode, which was my most recent one, I had bullet points, I had a PowerPoint, I prepped, I had an opening monologue, I had a closing point, and it really kept me from like swaying to random ideas that just popped into my head. It happens anyway, but I wanted to be able to keep on track to get the episode very formal and understandable. My most challenging episode with interviewing people was something I wanted to push myself to do, which was interviewing people on the street. The original idea was to interview people on the streets of Derry, but we thought we would start smaller and interview people on the campus. I found that really hard because walking up to random people on campus who you don't know to be like, hey, would you have 2 minutes to film a random TikTok they don't need to be on? We got a lot of good video footage on that. A lot of people did say no, which was fair, but I found the hardest part of that whole process was just asking, and then the minute I was there speaking to the people, it was a lot easier. We had prepped questions to ask the people so I wouldn't lose my train of thought, and I felt that was helpful in the moment as well. So prepping is always very good. The basic setup I did for the podcast episode was a lot in different locations. I would have loved to have a same location. I did film a lot in my student house in Derry, but process was I just set up the tripod, I had to screw on the light, pop my camera in the middle of the light. The mics were attached to my phone for audio, so I would plug in the audio kit and I would attach my little mics to little lip liners because they kind of added characteristics to the episode that people were holding little lip liners. With pre-production and production, post-production was also done solely. I had to transfer all the footage, all the audio onto my computer. I used an SD card transferred onto my computer through files for the camera footage. For the audio footage was a little bit more complicated, as it was voice memos on my phone that I had to go through iCloud to get those on my computer. It was very simple to line up the audio and camera visuals. There was an episode that I struggled with the most, which was the episode with Ellie Hughes, where I didn't have my mics. I had two phones, both doing voice memos, which had two different audios to use to match up together. So anytime I spoke, I had to mute Ellie's mic, and then when I spoke, I had to mute her mic. And I had to cut and chop the whole thing for 25 minutes, I think it was. So that was the hardest episode to do, purely for audio reasons. So I learned to always be prepared with your mics. For advertising, the algorithm was against me on social media. YouTube is a really hard game to play with pushing your videos out. Like, you have people on there that are getting paid to make these videos, so some of my videos did great. One video that got 600 views was a video I did with Sophie Morrow, which I did not a lot of advertising for, but still got the attention of people. On TikTok, I did get a lot of views, but I used my own TikTok account to push the Pillow Talks account to try and grab attraction from people I already knew. So a lot of videos did do pretty well. There was one video that I posted on my brand new account for Pillow Talks that did really well, but the rest of them kind of came from people that I knew from then on. So the algorithm was against me. I did use all the support that I could with trending ideas, hashtags. I still enjoyed it either way. I think I learned a lot from this experience of working on my own with pre-production, production, and post-production all being done by myself. I learned throughout the process that with the algorithm, I still wanted to post videos that suited the idea, like the trending ideas, but I also liked doing things on my own, and kind of if I had an audience, I wanted to talk about something that interested me and maybe interested them. So I think nearer to the end, I started doing that more than trying to push an algorithm, which I learned. I will continue to keep posting my podcast episodes. I think I found a love for the art anyway, and I really find it very comforting and fun. I really enjoyed the experience. I learned a lot with prep. I found prep was really important. I learned a lot of editing skills and transferring like audio visuals to your computer in different ways, and I learned the awkward world of interviewing.